Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Glad to be on here with you on Thought for Thursday. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you. We are near the end of our week. I don't know about you, but I think that's a reason to rejoice. It's been a good week, but I'm happy to be towards the end of it. Hope that you are too. Hey, everybody over there on Instagram. I'm trying to remember to look up at both screens. Hope you guys have had a good week. And I'm continuing to talk about some elements, some of the things that are a part of your reinvention process. So we're covering that, and we're covering that for a good reason. First of all, it's important for you to understand all the elements, all of the pieces that are included in reinventing. And secondly, because I've been teasing about this, but summer school is about to be in session, and the reinvention program is launching in July. And I'm happy about that as well. So you'll have to get more details on that. But today, the teaser was or is that forgiveness, it's a part of the process. And it's true. Forgiveness is a part of the process. If you're really ready for transformation to take place in your life, for reinvention to take place in your life, there's several things that you have to do to get prepared to do that. And one of those things involves forgiveness. Now, you say forgiveness. What in the world could that possibly have to do with making myself new or making things different, changing, the way I look at my, job or the way I look at my personal life? Well, forgiveness has a lot to do with it because for many of us, it's the thing that's holding us in bondage. And if we are in bondage, we are unable to change. If we are unable to change, well, hey, that's what reinvention is change. So we look at forgiveness because it is a crucial part. Now, what are some examples of what I'm talking about? You have to do things like forgiving yourself for past mistakes. How many of you like to harbor over the things that you've gotten wrong, over the things that you just kind of maybe seem to keep getting wrong? You just keep harboring over it. And because of that, you really can't come out of it. Or because of that, you really can't change because you're so dead set on remembering the thing that was the failure rather than focusing on how to get out of that failure. Okay. So when reinventing yourself, of course it's common to reflect on past mistakes. I mean, who doesn't? And you need to so that you can move past that and make sure that going forward you can get things right. But your decision again may be holding you back. Forgiving yourself of whatever happened in the past or whatever you didn't get right, forgiving yourself of that allows you to release those feelings of guilt that you might feel, or shame, or self blame, or what else. Anything that's enabling you to move forward with a clean slate. Okay. So you cannot, and many of us find it a lot easier to forgive others than we do to forgive ourselves. We're incredibly hard on ourselves. But I want you to think about that, particularly if you want to make change in your life. You've got to start with a slate that allows you to do that. So forgive yourself of those things that didn't go right, that you messed up, that you seem to never get right, that you keep repeating. Forgive yourself of those. Realize that you can go forward and get past them. Learn from them, but get past them and keep going so that they are not hindering you from advancing. Okay? What else? I said some of you find it difficult to forgive yourself. And it's easier for you to forgive others. Well, yeah, forgiving others is a part of that whole forgiveness puzzle that you have to complete. You have to understand that in addition to forgiving yourself, harboring any ill feelings or anything negative about things that people have done to you. I know you feel like a lot of people, and I hear it all the time, I might forgive, but I'll never forget. Well, it's that never forget part that really kind of shows hints of there still being unforgiveness there. Holding on to resentment or anger towards others can really weigh you down and hinder your progress. So here it is, they've done something to hurt you, which may have already weighted you down, but then you're holding on to that, which is further just cementing your feet in the ground so that you can't move forward. And you don't want to do that. So forgiving those who have hurt you or betrayed you or let you down really kind of frees you up from the burden of carrying negative emotions. And a lot of us need to be freed up from that. It doesn't mean, of course, when you say forget, yes, there are certain things that you will always remember, but that whole not forgetting it doesn't mean not forgiving. That means, okay, I may remember that, but I remember that again as a lesson, as a stepping stone, as something that has strengthened me, as something that I'm going to use to help me to go forward. And that's how you have to look at that. And also, forgetting doesn't necessarily mean condoning the actions that the person took against you. I want to make that clear too. That doesn't mean that they didn't wrong you or that they weren't wrong in what they were doing. That just means you are trying to get past that thing that they have put before you that is causing you to stumble, that's causing you to fall and not be able to get up because you're holding yourself down under the weight of holding any animosity that you may have against them or against a group of people, against anyone who may have wronged you. It doesn't condone their actions, but choosing to release the negative energy associated with what they did really does change your situation. It can change it from night to day, bring you from the darkness to the light because you can see past what's being done and actually see what it is that you want to do. You can see past what's been done and actually see what it is that you want to do. It clears up your vision, it clears up your mantra to go forward and push past things and push to get done what it is that you want to get done. All right. What else? Forgiving what? Forgive those circumstances or those life events. We've all had them. And just because we've all had them doesn't mean that they haven't done some damage. It doesn't mean that they don't have any real significance, if they haven't contributed to anything. Sometimes we need to forgive circumstances or events that have caused us pain or disappointment or setbacks, because those again are causing a hindrance to us. It's hindering us from moving forward and from being what we have been trying to be perhaps for years and years and years, or for changing what we've been trying to change for years and years. It could include things like forgiving a job loss or a failed relationships, a missed opportunity. A lot of times we miss an opportunity, we see what it could have done for us, and we harbor so much on what we lost out on that we forget to go ahead and move towards what we can gain because we're still stuck in what we lost on, not realizing that we may even get another opportunity to get to that thing that we've lost out on. So, by letting go of the resentment or the bitterness towards the circumstance, you can really shift your perspective and really open your mind to think differently, to act different, and to be different. And that's where I want us to get. I want us to get to the point where we realize that holding on to some of this stuff is causing us to be the way we are, but it's not helping us to be the different person that we want to be. And we need to come to grips with the things that we need to do to be different, to change, to be what it is that we desire to be, or have what it is that we desire to have. All right. What else? Forgiveness. Forgiving unrealized expectations. And that really kind of falls along the lines of the same thing that I just talked about a few minutes ago. Forgiving those circumstances. Sometimes we have expectations, and let's face it, we've all had expectations, really high expectations for certain things that we just knew were going to work out, things that we would have just placed any manner of wager on to say, I know that this is going to work. I feel that this is the direction I'm supposed to go. I know it's going to work. And lo and behold, we don't realize, the thing that we were expecting doesn't come to fruition. That's a hard one. That's a very hard one. Because when you've experienced failure, or when you have built yourself up to the point where you realize, or where you feel that this is definitely going to come to fruition, and you've probably worked really hard at getting there, it's very hard to kind of pick yourself up and throw yourself back in the game. But it involves, letting go of that old expectation. All right. So that old expectation didn't come to fruition. It's time for you to put forth a new one. It may look like the old one, but the difference is you're going forth with this one, yeah, probably with the same hope that you had for the other one, but knowing that you have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain by continuing to push forth to realize those expectations that you still desire to come to fruition. It could be forgiving yourself for not achieving a certain goal, for example, or forgiving yourself for not meeting any manner of expectation that you may have set. But by releasing that attachment to the specific outcome, because that's what it is, you're holding on, you're not forgiving yourself, is really you attaching yourself and feeling like that outcome has failed and you have failed, and you can't forgive yourself for not seeing that outcome. But releasing that and releasing yourself from that outcome and attaching to new and different outcomes. Okay, outcomes with expectation, with hope, and with promise. By doing that, releasing that, it's a part of your reinvention process as well. So what else? We're coming down to the end of it here. What else? Forgive those limiting beliefs. We talk about those a lot, don't we? You know why? Because we deal with them a lot. I'm talking in particular, as I lean into the camera here, to those who are of that prime age where we have been under limiting beliefs for so long, and we are starting to realize the cloak is starting to come from over our eyes. The haze is lifting up, unless you're here in the DC metro area where we've got Canadian wildfire haze, fire haze, but I'm getting off topic here. But the haze is starting to lift up. And you see that those limiting beliefs have caused you to sit when you should have been standing. They've caused you to pull back when you should have been at the front of the line. They have caused you to sacrifice and to miss out on opportunities that you know would have come to be good for you, or opportunities that would have caused you or offered you a chance to prosper. That haze has been lifted. And for, like I said, many of us who have sat under it for so long, oh my goodness, it is so hard to forgive ourselves for sitting where we were, for taking what we took, for being who we were for so long, and missing out on all the things that we feel that we missed out on. Now, I frequently talk about plugging into your journey. And I talk about the fact that absolutely nothing happens in your life that is for naught, that should be discounted, good, bad, or indifferent. Why? Because it all forms together to make you who you are. And it helps you as you progress in your journey to get to the place where you're desiring to be. So don't discount that thing. Those limiting beliefs, they're a part of it too. Yeah, they may have caused great damage in your life, but you know the important piece of it now is to get above it. Now that your eyes have been opened, make sure that you're seeing clearly and you're not letting any blinders pop up in any direction that are going to cause you to stumble back and fall. So as you embark on this whole reinvention piece of it, and yeah, you realize that those limiting beliefs have held you back. Realize that you still have the abilities that you were given, that you're inbred with, all right? That God gave you from the onset. You still have those abilities and some things that you've learned along the way. You are still worthy. You still have value. You still possess those possibilities that are going to bring about the probable things that you are waiting on, that you have been desiring to have, desiring to do, desiring to experience. So make sure that you don't give up because you have been sitting under limiting beliefs for so long that you feel that you just can't go any further. And you're dwelling so much on those limiting beliefs, they're starting to limit where you can go and who you can be. Although you've let them go, you're dwelling on the fact that you were under them for so long. Let them go and move forward. All right? So yes, forgiveness, people. Forgiveness is a part of reinvention. It is a part of the puzzle, just as release is. Release, we talked about last week. There are certain things in our lives that we need to release. Well, there are certain things and people and circumstances and events that we need to forgive in order to move forward. All of these things are things that are a part of the holistic process of reinventing your life. Because in order to reinvent, I say your life, your career, your relationship, whatever it is that you're choosing to reinvent, in order to do that, you have to have a slate that is appropriate, that is conducive to receiving the things that you need to do to make the change. And if you're harboring any of these limiting things, any of these things that are weighting you down, then you will not successfully reinvent and realize that thing that you need to realize. So we talk about these things, and these are the things that we talk about. We do a deeper dive in my program because we're trying to get to the bottom of it. We're trying to get to the crux of the matter so that we can release this stuff, so that we can go ahead and pursue that reinvention that we know we are worthy of pursuing. All right? That's it. I started to get a little excited about some of these things. And it's just simply because I know that if you put these things in action, you'll get the results that you want to get. I know it. I've gone through it. I've worked with people who have gone through it. And I promise you, there is a way out from up under where you are or where you've been. There's a way to move forward. There's a way to reinvent so that you can have that life where you are thriving and not merely surviving. All right. Whew, that's it, everybody. Thanks so much for listening in. As you know, this is going to be up. Be sure to listen out for it. The program is launching in July, and it is called Reinvent Her. I have revamped it to really deal with those pain points that we need to deal with in order to get that slate that we need, and then develop that process, that program, that goal and the objectives, all those things that are needed to get us to that end point of where we want to be. All right. So listen out for details about that. This is going to be up on YouTube as well. Don't forget to go over to my YouTube channel, which is under Leveling Up the Podcast, and reminds me that there's a new podcast episode up as well. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful, spectacular weekend. Remember, you are unique. You're worthy of change. Release, forgive, do all the things that are necessary so that you could bring about your best self, so that you can enjoy yourself and realize all of the goals and dreams that you have set forth can be achieved if you do the work. You've got an imprint that is unique to you, an imprint that only you have, and that can definitely make impact in the world. So go out and touch something and make it different, all right? Be courageously and boldly yourself, be authentic, because the world needs just what you have, you and only you. We need it, and you deserve to move in the direction of being able to thrive. All right? That's it. You guys have a good weekend. Bye bye.